The CBN is still in the news as usual. For the past 3 days, issues related to CBN has been grabbing news headlines. This time around is about its directive to the jurisdiction operators to buy forex at 1,300 naira per dollar and sell at a profit of 1%. How will this play out? What will be the impact of these on the parallel market where most Nigerians depend on to source for forex? The CBN explained that the essence of doing this is to correct the destruction in the retail market. Let's see what our guest will have to say, and what will be his reaction to this. Is also one of the operators. We're being joined by Kasimu Garba Kurfi, who is the MD CEO, App Securities and Funds Limited. Glad to have you join us this morning on Early Exchange.
Me.
Great, it's been a while. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Let me have your quick reaction to the directive from the CBN. I know you're aware of this, and the directive is for you and your colleagues, if I may put it that way, to buy FX dollar at the rate of 1,300 naira and sell at 1% profit. How are your colleagues reacting to this directive from the CBN?
It is a welcome development, and it's not news to us, because in the past, a similar trend has been adopted and really bring change. I can remember as far back as time of the Anini when he was the Minister of Finance during the late General Abacha. Whenever there is upsurge of the price of the dollar, they supply to the Biridi chain, and that killed the speculators. And this could have been adopted much earlier, even before now. When the dollar moved to as high as 1,900, all what CBN do, release 100 million in the Biridi chain. I can tell you by the time they move it at 1,009, the next day they release it, the price will go down. The next day they release it, you will see the speculator will start bringing out their dollar into the market because they don't want to lose money. And once you create this, what happened? Before you know it, you will see the market stabilize. So now that the CBN decided to go this way, I say it's a welcome development. And believe me sincerely, you will see things change. Because most of the traders in the market, it's not that they bought the dollar at that rate, but rather they are asking what are the exchange rate. So in order to replace their replacement cost, they just change the prices of their stock already filed in the shop at the exchange rate of today market. Now that it has been, I can tell you, even as far back as yesterday, in the Biridi chain, the price has come down to as 1,005. And if this supply reach to the market, the price will go down. And this is what has been doing for many years that stabilizes the market. We are not saying that the CBN should continue indefinitely, but we are saying that we have to kill the issue of speculator. You cannot discount your money at the expenses of the foreign currency. Now that the rate has gone up, MPR has moved to 22.75%, which is almost 23%. So why should you go and speculate, which you are not very sure? Why don't you put your money in the bank and get the reasonable return that is you are sure of getting it? I believe the two measures they have taken concurrently has really bring change into this market. And I can bet you in the next 2 weeks, you will see what will happen to our market.
Okay, I can see that you're excited that the CBN has resumed or plans to resume sales of forex to BDCs 3 years after it stopped selling forex to BDCs. But so far, about 1,373 BDC operators have been screened to get the allocation of $20,000 per BDC. So for it, talking about it going round and the allocation going around the market, does that mean it's going to take a long time for all the BDCs to receive allocation from the CBN?
Well, you see, the truth of the matter is that if you look at it, we have over 6,000 BDC licenses. Most of these licenses, I have no doubt on me, were issued not to the real traders. So those who are not into the business, there is nothing wrong if they stop being allotted to that. But those who are in the real business, when you allot it, you go to the market, you see the impact. Believe me sincerely, the easiest and accessed by all and sundry is the common man on the street by the BDC. The seller know them, the buyer know them. And because of easy access to it, so it becomes the dictate of the price and the dictate of the price of the product we are buying in the market. Nobody asks CBN or bank, what is your rate? Because it's irrelevant. No matter how low the rate is from the bank, by the time you apply for it, it can take you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months without getting it. So that is no more an issue. So what is an issue is the BRD chain. And we don't have big capital. Nobody will get supply today and keep it and wait for next week's supply. As soon as you get the supply, that is all your money. So you rush to sell and to make sure that you have money to remit so that you can go for the next bid. And since now they decided to cut off the institutional investors, the banking BRD chain, who have ample money, deposited money, so they will cut half of the speculation. The real BRD chain is not a speculator, it's purely a trader. Our gain is buying and selling. Nobody gain by buying and holding. And we don't even have enough money. Don't forget that the BRD chains, they are not depositors. Nobody takes his money and deposit it to BRD chain. You only take it to collect dollar. So if there is no dollar, you don't take your money there. And because we are not depositors, we got the allocation, we start selling immediately. And that's what the impact will the price do. And that's what will the change be seen by all and sundry. And I can tell you that in 2 weeks' time, you will see what will happen to the market. And the speculators will have no room because they cannot continue holding. The next, you see that they will start bringing it out. So the supply will not only be by CBN, but including speculators who cannot continue speculating when the interest rate in the deposit money is much higher as 23%.
Now, let's go back to this issue of price distortion in the parallel market, which the CBN actually made reference to. As an operator in that market, I would like you to give us a better insight into what is playing out. What actually is fueling this price distortion in the retail market, especially in the parallel market?
What spoiled it is the policy that the CBN decided to only allot to banks. Don't forget, banks are depositors of money. Because they have excess money, they can get the allotment without distribution because they have enough to hold into it. And therefore, even when CBN distributes to the bank, it doesn't reach out to you and me. You will know this if, assuming your television have selected you to go and witness the African Cup of Nations at Cote d'Ivoire. Assuming you apply to the bank, until that game's finish, you will not get your allotment of BAT from any bank, no matter how close you are with them. But that can never happen to the BRD chain. One, we are many. Two, if A is not willing to sell, B is ready to take his money. Three, we are not deposited of money, so we don't have excess money. So we cannot buy and hold. We must buy and sell. So we are living hand to mouth, and therefore, whatever you give us, the next you see the impact in the market. And because of that impact, is that what will bring the change? And that what will change the whole speculation. And I can tell you, people that buy dollar and keep have no room for it.
Okay, you just gave an example of the bureaucracy in the banking system when applying for Forex. But it seemed like the CBN is introducing that bureaucracy too in the BDC with the revised regulatory guidelines for BDCs, which it is considering, which would also ensure that the BDCs have two tiers, tier 1 and tier 2. So the license fee for tier 1 as you may have already heard and known through the circular, will be 2 billion naira, and then the license fee for tier 2, 500 million naira. Now, it goes further to say in that same circular that Forex should be sold to eligible persons and for certain reasons such as PTA, medical travels, and the likes. Is that not the same situation you have in the banking system? So if that had created a bureaucracy within the banking system, would it not be transferred also to the Bureau de Change Operations?
The Bureau de Change Operators, what we have seen is a draft policy. So a draft policy has to be reviewed, approved, and implemented. It's not yet implemented. Secondly, Bureau de Change are not depositors. Nobody takes his money and give Bureau de Change. You only give them money to collect dollar. And we don't even have more than our capital. Look at it. Before, it's the same capital we are using to buy when the dollar was 600. Now you are talking of 1,300. So our capital can only buy a half of what we can trade before. And therefore, because of our small capital, we are eager and ready and rush to see that we dispose before we go for the next bid. Otherwise, you don't have any capital to bid for you. Bank will not borrow money to you. And secondly, we are just like any other person. We are close to the people on the grassroots. And that is why you see people going to hospital. You see people, whatever they are doing, they go to be ready to change because they normally have no business of holding money. We only tell you the price that is available. And once the price is now reduced to this, we got it at this, we sell. And then forget that even our old system say that follow this, collect this system. But we do. But the most interesting thing that we are more friendly. Every other person that travel out, he will tell you that if you want your dollar, go to the ready change. You get it instantly, you move. Some people, they buy it at the airport. You cannot try that one for any bank, unless you are a bank official. If you try it, maybe 1 week, having met of the bureaucracy, you will see that they will say that you are on the queue. And that queue may take you 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or thereabout. Ask anybody that have a relationship with the bank and try to apply for VAT. He will tell you this, and this, no exception. All the banks across the board. I did not exempt any bank. All of them, they are the same. That is not what apply for the Bureau de Change. You pay your cash, you get your dollar.
All right. I hope you can hear me. All right, great. Now, let's look at the implication of these for the BDC operators. Now, according to this directive from the CBN, BDC's operators are obliged to now sell at a profit not more than 1%, to sell now at a margin rather, not more than 1%. How do you see the level of compliance on the part of the BDC operators who are used to making more profit, and now the margin is tightened just 1%? Do you see full compliance on the part of the BDC operators?
There is compliance because the content they are given to be ready change is good enough. Look at it. You are talking of $20,000. And in each one, you get about 14 naira. 14 naira times 10,000, it will give you how much? It will give you 140,000. 14,000 times 20,000, it will give you about 280,000 in a week. Despite the hardship of life, is good enough for the rich to stay contented. Believe me sincerely, even when the price were going up, we are not getting much, because you don't even have enough money to do that business. And secondly, the dollar is not even available. So you see that you spend the whole day without making anything. Now with this trade, you can make this trade. If you divide 280,000 by 5 days, that will give you over 40,000 in a day, or more than 50,000. And that is good enough for a living. We want to live. And therefore, we are contented with this, and we are willing to comply with this. And the regulator and the CBN, they have their way, they check and balances. And if they caught anybody who is doing it, whatever the punishment they so wish to apply for it, we have no excuse for it, because we tell our members compliance is the way out.
All right, talking about compliance now. So let's look at the share capital that the CBN plans to raise for bureau de change operators, the 2 billion naira license for tier 1 and 500 million naira license for tier 2. And before that time, there's been a general license fee of about 35 million naira. Do you see this as double licensing, or do you think the fees are too much to be asked to pay by the BDCs?
You see, it was not news to us. If you remember, during Sanusi Lamido Sanusi as CBN governor, we have tier 1 and tier 2, and it was introduced by Solodo. During that time, anybody want to go for tier 1, you have to have a capital deposit of 500 million naira. And not only a deposit of 500 million, they will verify to know that the source is very correct. Now that they say that the single license is 500 million, and the across the state license is 2 billion, I believe this is a proposal. And believe me sincerely, by the time they look at it, they go across the wall, they want to do something that is for a living. Because the moment you hijack the license beyond the reach of the common man, what you will do, you will get only people who are speculators, who have abundant money. And when you deal with the speculators, you will go back to square one. So I believe that it's a proposal. They may review it and decide otherwise. And don't forget that we are willing and ready to cooperate, merge among ourselves, because whatever is the capital is our money. So if you ask me for 500 million, the 500 million will not be deposited forever in the CBN. Having verified the 500 million, it will be returned back to me, and therefore I will use it to trade. And they don't want us to have much money, because if we have much money, I can bid today and keep, and bid tomorrow and keep, which is not the essence. The essence is to buy and sell. So therefore, this capital is a proposal. I hope they will review it and reduce it to the BRS minimum so that it will work. We are not operating in an isolated world. If you go to Kenya, they did not ask for this. Angola, they did not ask for it. South Africa, there is already change, even in Dubai. They don't ask for this capital. And I believe that they will come back and look at it. What we are saying, let those who are the real operator be getting the license. We don't want license be issued to politicians. We don't want license be issued to people who have no business in Bureau de change business.
So while you hope that, or while the Bureau de change operators hope for a review, because the guideline has not come into effect yet, it's just still being considered by the CBN. Now, are there plans for measures amongst BDCs?
Definitely, Keisha, it's very, we know ourselves, and we work in uniform. Most of the Bureau de change, they rely on others to even provide for the fund. So what it is that, if that would take to get the license, we are willing and ready to match, because we know ourselves. And don't forget that is you pay according to your capital. Most of us will be able to match and get the license. And don't forget that we can operate 3 branches within the state. So if I'm in Lagos, I can operate in Lagos Island, I can operate in Ikeja, I can operate in the airport or Agegi. So it will make life very much easier. If we merge, we can separate ourselves. You operate this branch, you operate this branch, you operate that branch. And therefore, we continue working. And we always in uniform. Because go and see, you'll never see a Bureau de change office alone. We are always together because nobody have enough capital to supply the market. If we are looking for it, we ask A, we ask B, we ask C. And once they have it, as if I have it, I can supply. And that has been doing before. Therefore, it will be easier for us to do it because we understand ourselves. My only advice for the central bank, let's make due diligence to ensure the right people, those who are on the ground, those who do the business, we are getting the license.
Let's look at the activities of the unlicensed BDC operators, how it might likely still affect price destruction in the market or bring about price destruction in the market. You're aware that the bulk of these BDC operators on the street, some of them are non-licensed or some of them are attached to a licensed operator. They are like agents or third parties. And most of them, you are usually the first point of call when you get to the parallel market. Knowing fully well that the parallel market is like a free market, free entry and free exit. How will this play out if the licensed operators are being allocated $20,000? What about the unlicensed operators? What may likely be the effect of these on the issue of distorting the price level in the market?
Well, for the time being, they may likely operate, but I think the coming of the EFC and the police have served a good lesson to many of them because some of them were detained and up now they cannot justify why they are doing what they are doing. Good enough, the draft policy have taken care of that. And therefore, every representative of a licensed BDC must have an identity. And that identity will tag you to yourself, to your face, so there is no hiding. It's just like an usher in a hotel or in an aircraft. You know their name right from there. So now, if I have any agent representing my BDC, his name tag will be there and my BDC name is synonymous. Therefore, we within ourselves, we make sure that if you are not a licensed agent, we identify you and hand over you to the authority. And the licensed agents say they are representing the license and we will warn them. You must behave well, you must comply, otherwise we will withdraw you from being an agent. And you know that is a means of livelihood. You cannot continue anyhow. I believe the draft policy, by the time it becomes effective, all these issues you are raising are going to be bygone. It happened to other things, it can happen to us. And I can assure you that you will not see anybody along the street claiming dollar, dollar, dollar. You must have your tag, you must have your name attached, and you must know which Biridi chance is doing. And by so doing that way, you will see that the issue of fake currency will be stopped. Because a license, somebody that has tag name, has Biridi change attached to him, cannot issue a fake. Because you can snap his picture and take it off.
All right, so before we move to something away from the BDC, but still on Forex, now for the sanity that the CBN intends to bring to the BDC operations, what benefit will it bring to the operators and the customers?
The operators will clear all bad by X. Therefore, you cannot just go by the citra and claim dollar, dollar. We must know which house are you representing and whose agent are you. That is one. Two, to the industry and for the even buyer, you will be erased from those that sell fake currency. So you see the issue of fake currency will be reduced to the barest minimum. And we will encourage our BRD to have those machines as the bank have, because if you have capital, you can have the machine that for every dollar I'm issuing you, it will give you the dollar number in your receipt. So I have the number of the dollar, even if it is all currency, it will, if you go to the bank now, whatever dollar they issue, they will give you a receipt that shows the serial number of each dollar they give you. So we want to apply the same to even be really changed, because when we have the capital, we can buy those machines. And with those machines, so anybody buy dollar anywhere will have the receipt that shows the series number. So the question of fake does not arise. And by so doing that, you will see that we will have a better market where we'll get more inflow. Because the beauty of it, most of those who get their money from Western Union, they don't want to sell it to the bank. they prepare it to sell it to the malam. And we are ready to take care of them because the rate will be known and it will be easier for all newcomers and those who want to purchase. So it is a win-win situation. One, it will sanitize the market. Secondly, you will see that only those who are in the business will remain in business.
To the decision made by the CBN yesterday to clear the backlog of FX requests, to the tune of $400 million. How do you react to these, and what do you think will be the implication of these on the FX market and to also the genuine requests made by some of these, those who demand for FX?
Well, first and foremost, this dispels the rumor that CBN lacked the currency. If they can pay as much as 400 million, it shows you they have good enough. At the same time, they will supply to BDC. So the rumor that there is no dollar, there is no this does not arise. By so doing this, it will. Secondly, it gives the confidence for the foreign investors. Because foreign investors would like to invest in there where there is a stable exchange rate. No matter how much you want, the foreign investor will not come to any country that is a rising devaluation of the local currency, because you are bringing foreign currency. If you exchange it by January at 1,003 and by February it's 1,009, whatever you are getting, you lost it by the devaluation. Now this brings sanity, stability, and therefore we are expecting, having stabilized the exchange rate, more foreign inflow will come to the country because we have the best market in Africa. A population of 230, nobody take it for granted. And I can tell you, many foreign companies are willing to come to the Nigeria because we have the big market.
All right, let's look at the other side of this. Now, since the CBN is already giving Forex to verified and genuine applicants and is clearing the backlog, and also selling Forex now to the BDCs, there have been allegations of illicit financial inflow into the country through the BDCs. So if the CBN continues this, allocating Forex to the BDCs, do you think that will to a great extent reduce the chances of illicit financial flows to the country through the BDCs?
Well, for me, I assume that one is a mere accusation, because if there is illicit finances through the BDC, the price wouldn't have gone up. Because why the price go up? Because we lack it. Look, let me tell you, it's a common knowledge, demand and supply. Wherever you see price goes up because there is no supply. So if it is true there is illicit supply of the foreign exchange through BDC, why should the price go up? The price shouldn't have gone up, just simply because we don't have enough. That is one. However, if you are bringing the illicit money, how do you bring it? In most cases, you bring it through bank. If you use Western Money Union, it's still through bank. So there is no way the CBN will not have the record, because whatever is taken from the bank will send the money NFIU, and they will send the report to all those, the regulatory body, including CBN. So the report cannot be hidden. Unless if you are bringing your money cash. And if you are bringing the money cash, I can tell you the enough checkpoint at the international airport who are there or at our border to checkmate those currencies. So in either way, I believe if the regulators and those who are in charge of the authority do the needful, the illicit money cannot come. And if it dare find its way, there is another way of reporting it. Be ready to, we are to report whoever is the seller, irrespective of the quantity. So if you sell to us, we'll report you. Because when we sell to anybody, we have to also report. So we cannot report the seller without reporting the buyer. So we report both the two sides. Whoever sells to us, we report him. Whoever buys from us, we report him. And the CBN know that we submit those reports weekly and monthly.
Now let's talk about addressing issues related to liquidity. Interestingly, the Nigeria's external reserves, according to the CBN, has increased from $33 billion to $34 billion, earlier this year. What will you expect to, maybe in coming months, to further increase the liquidity or strengthen the liquidity in the system and also increase the external reserves in Nigeria?
You can only achieve this if you address your expenditure. And the president made it very clear that he's going to take a Orosanya report. And what the Orosanya report means, about 160 parasites will be merged. So most of their head we don't know, like road safety will be merged with the police. So many parasites that have head, those additional costs will be cut off. And if the federal government control their expenditure, that is the beginning for the reserve. We have seen what happened in Argentina. Immediately after swearing the president, he cut off the cost and now he started building reserve. Once you build the reserve, you will get more foreign investors willing to invest into your country because it's the strength of the reserve that enable them to see that in the case they want to exit, they are willing to get enough to get out of the country. And once your reserve is boosted, so more foreign investors will come, and therefore you get stability. And I believe we can achieve this within the shortest possible time.
All right, let's look at the recommendations that perhaps you'd like to make on behalf of the BDCs to the CBN regarding the revised regulatory guidelines. One part of it also states that states eligibility of those to whom forex can be sold. Do you think that should remain in the guideline? And yes, go ahead, make other recommendations.
I appeal to my colleagues, all the BRD chain, I appeal to them, please, let's help the government by ensuring compliance. We know the speculators. Whatever the price they offer, we say no to it. We want to bring sanity into this market, and it's a collective effort. Since CBN is willing to sell to us, we shall avoid selling to any speculators. We know them, and we stop selling to them. Those who are in the legitimate request, let's take care of them. And if we do so, the price will come down. So we should be cooperative with the CBN. We have been appealing for many years to start releasing us. Now they wish to do it. We should be cooperative to CBN to ensure compliance, to ensure stability, and to avoid speculators.
With these, CBN has maintained severally that Naira remains the legal tender as far as Nigeria is concerned. But you also see the high demand for dollars and other foreign currencies. What can be done differently this time around to ensure that Naira becomes legal tender, both officially and unofficially, even at the private market?
When the monetary policy come with their policy, we need fiscal policy. We need extra guideline from the president to say no to any stock in Nigeria pricing it in any other currency than Naira. Secondly, we should make sure anything that deal with the Nigeria must be paid in Naira. Why should a player pay in dollars as a bonus? He is a Nigerian. He play for Nigeria. Should take Naira. We apply the same, except those contracts are extremely deal with the outsiders where we do it. There should be no rent. Go to Ikoyi, go to Lekki. You see houses they are calling in dollars. This shouldn't be done. You cannot try any other currency in UK except sterling pound. You cannot try any currency except dollar in US. Nigeria should not be an exception. And that we need fiscal policy and ensure compliance. And those who choose to do otherwise, they forfeit it. If you have your property, you say you're collecting dollar, let the law come that you either call Naira or you forfeit that property. And if we do that, that will bring sanity within the industry. And therefore, Naira will be there. Nobody doubt it. Today I'm in Lagos. With 1,000 Naira, I can eat food. So the value is there. It's only that we are trying to devalue our currency unnecessarily because we are making reference to what does a bole seller has to do with dollar? What is there in dollar in it? So you can see so many things we try to argue what concerns tomato or pepper or onion with dollar. Where the dollar are affected. Look, if we insist and we insist that our shopping mall anywhere is Naira currency. Anybody that choose to price his property or land in dollar, he will forfeit it. Let the government come with a rule like this. I can tell you that you will see sanity and people respect their currency. You have to respect your currency before any other person respect for it. But the value is there.
Thank you very much, Kasimu Garba Kurfi, the MD, CEO, Apt Securities and Funds Limited, for your time with us on Early Exchange. We hope it gets better for Nigeria and the exchange rate between the Naira and the dollar also improves. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.